Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk a little bit about my local public library, books that I somehow put on hold, and then how many of them came in at one time. I don't know why that always happens, but I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Also, the Women's Prize for Fiction and the books I ended up putting on hold for that, and the ones that I actually have, and the rest of a book haul. It's a lot to kind of get through. So I'm going to just go ahead and jump right in. The first thing is my local library system, I have to say, here in the Seattle area is phenomenal. They have such a large number of a library catalog, a large number of books, and I am so incredibly fortunate to be able to live in this area where I can get both physical books and ebooks without a huge, well, that's not true. There is a delay at times, but I'm able to get a wide range of books, even some very unknown or uncommon books. And so I know not everyone has that in their local area. But why? Why is it always that the books come in at the same time? I don't know how I managed to do this to myself. Also, with books that I already when I look at what I have on hold at the library, a number of these books could come in really at any time. So on my hold list right now, I have Your Driver is Waiting, which was a new release, which is why I kind of put it on there. I was curious about it and really wanted to read it. I am number one of 8 copies, which means it could show up at any moment. I put Cursed Bread, which is a women's prize novel on it because I did want to read that one. That one is 3 of 12. I have a nonfiction book about drama-free, a guide to managing unhealthy family relationships. I have another women's prize book of The Dog of the North. This one I'm number 4 on 1 copy. I don't know why they only have 1 copy. It is an ebook, but that one's probably going to take a fair amount of time to come back because ebooks, even if you return them, they're not really returned. They often will take a lot longer to, like, the full time that they're checked out. I have a Margaret Atwood new release that I wanted to read. I have The Creative Act, which is a nonfiction book I wanted to read. These ones are still a ways out, I hope. Number 12 on 42 copies. It could come in, though, again at any time. The Keeper 6, which is a buddy read that I'm hoping to do in the near future. Loyalty, which is a new release that hasn't come out yet. One of the things that the library has is I can put holds on books before they're even released, so I get in the queue for very popular books, which is what this one is, number 47 of 54. So there is every possibility that when it is released, I will immediately get a copy. And then I put Stone Blind, another women's prize book, which is 96 out of 18 copies. That one's going to be a while. And The Marriage Portrait, which is 250 on 112 copies. I don't know how long it's going to take for a lot of these to come in, but I have a combination of ebooks and physical books. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful problem to have. It absolutely is. But I ended up with a lot on my hold list that could or could not come in. But what did I end up actually getting from the library? The first one is a newer release that came out in January. It is Sam by Allegra Goodman. This particular book, it was one when I hate the library copies of them because they're always shiny. Sorry about that. When I put this book on hold, it was a new release that I was really interested in. The premise is a coming of age story. It starts with a 7-year-old girl and kind of as she matures. My grandmother used to call me Sam, which is probably why I added this particular book. Out of all the books that I'm going to show you that I have coming up, this one, I don't know if I'm going to have time to read this one. It's one that I did pick it up, but I have a feeling it's going to get back to the library, not read. That's very rare. Usually if I get it from the library, I try and read it. The next book is actually a book for the Up to No Good Book Club. This has Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl, Shelley Swearingen, Fraser Simon from Springboard Thought, and Deb, Angela, and Sonia, which are subscribers and friends. And we are going to be reading The River by Peter Heller. I had never heard of this particular book before, and they picked this during the March meeting that they had. I unfortunately was not able to attend, but I will be attending the April one. So I'm putting this one at the top of my priority list to pick up and read. This particular book, it says in here, since I've never heard of it, it says Win and Jack have been best friends since freshman orientation, bonded by their shared love of mountains, books, and fishing. Win is a gentle giant, a Vermont kid never happier than when his feet are in the water. Jack is more rugged, raised on a ranch in Colorado, where sleeping under the stars and cooking on a fire came as naturally to him as breathing. When they decide to canoe the Masqua River in northern Canada, they anticipate long days of leisurely paddling and picking blueberries and nights of stargazing and reading paperback westerns. It does keep going, but I'm not going to keep reading because I want to be surprised. But this one, I have to read it in the next 2 weeks. So The River, that one's going to be added to my March TBR. Then for the Women's Prize, I also did already end up getting one of the books that I had put on hold, which is Homesick by Jennifer Croft. And this particular book, it's actually fairly short, which is great. It also has a large amount of white space and photos in it. So I don't think this book is going to take me long at all to read. I am kind of putting this at the top of the Women's Prize reading. It's a little confusing because it's billed, even in this says a memoir. A memoir would have made it nonfiction, but it's on the fiction list. So I've heard that this is kind of sort of auto fiction with two sisters, but that's really all I know about it. We'll see when I get into it, but that is the first Women's Prize for fiction that I will be reading. I have two other Women's Prize books that I purchased recently. The first one is Trespasses by Louise Kennedy. This book has been on my radar for a minute or two, ever since the Barnes & Noble Discover New Authors Prize. This was on that short list of 6, I think it was, books when I had purchased 5, but this one had not come out yet at the time that prize was being announced. So I was aware of it because of that. The second reason I ended up picking it up is actually because of the BookTube Prize. In the BookTube Prize round that I'm reading, or that I finished my BookTube Prize reading, yay! Sorry, digress. There were actually 2 novels that were set in this same kind of time period called The Troubles in Northern Ireland. And I was really curious about this one after having read those 2 memoirs. So I'm really, really wanting to pick this one up. I know a friend of mine read this, I believe, or Gemma might be reading this. I'm not sure how they're getting along with it. So I'm a little bit worried about this particular one, but again, it's not super long. So yeah, I'm thinking about this one. And then the only book on the Women's Prize list that I wanted to buy immediately and I want to read more than any other book is actually this one, The Bandit Queens by Perini Shroff. Oh, this cover of this book. How beautiful is this? I don't know why I'm drawn to this cover, but all of those beautiful colors, so gorgeous. I love the 2 women's eyes. The premise of the story, from what I understand, is that a woman's husband has gone missing and she doesn't know where he's at, but all of the women in the village assume that she killed him and then start asking for advice on how to kill their own husbands. That sounds like a very fun premise, but I've heard that this is actually a little bit dark, and it also has to do with being a woman in India, and I'm really, really interested in this one. This is probably, if I could pick up any book right away, it would actually be this one. So what I'm considering doing, you can tell me if you want to see this, I'm considering actually doing a reading vlog this weekend with The Bandit Queens, Trespasses, and Homesick, and seeing how many I can kind of get through over Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of time frame, because I do have a lot of time to kind of read this weekend, and these are the 3 Women's Prize books that are on my short list to read right away. Let me know if that's something that you would want to see me do. Part of the reason why I feel like I could do that this weekend is I finished my BookTube Prize reading, as I said. So all 6 books are finally done, yay. And I am making huge progress on my Mammoth for March. I only have not a small number of pages, but I've made it a significant way through that book. And I only have one other book on my TBR for March. Even though I thought my March TBR was overloaded, somehow I managed to read a ton. So I am really thinking maybe a Women's Prize reading vlog. I don't do a lot of vlogs, but I'm curious if you'd like to see that. I certainly will try that. But those are the Women's Prize books that I have. That's the end of the Women's Prize books and the library books. The other books I have are a wide mix of different ones. The first one is Belcanto by Ann Patchett. This was actually the Up to No Good Book Club's pick for February, and I didn't get to read it, and I couldn't go to the meeting, unfortunately. So this one is a book that has been on my radar for a number of years, and I just never picked it up. My friend Angela sent me this copy, so thank you so much, Angela. I really do appreciate it. I know I will read it because it is on a number of other lists, so it's not on the 1001 list. Ann Patchett doesn't have any books on that list. This book was actually published in 2001 as well, and the last 1001 edition came out in 2015, I believe. So there was every opportunity to put it on the list. So I don't know why it wouldn't have shown up on there. But I am excited to pick this particular one up, and hopefully fairly soon. I don't want it to go languish on my shelf. So Belcanto. The other book that I picked up, these are from Barnes and Noble and and a couple other places, but these are books that I picked up fairly recently. It is Larry McMurtry's Dead Man's Walk. And this book is the third book in the Lonesome Dove quartet. And so Lonesome Dove is when the characters are out on the trail. The second book, Streets of Laredo, is afterwards. And then this book, Dead Man's Walk, focuses on Cal and Gus, two of the main characters, as young Texas Rangers. I really want this to be excellent. I've heard mixed things about it, but I really like those two characters in particular and would love to hear more of their backstory. I feel like I should read this and then reread Lonesome Dove. Not that I have time to do that, but Larry McMurtry's Dead Man's Walk. Oh, hopefully. The next book that I picked up is, I swear, because of the cover, I'm drawn to red and black and white covers, and it is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I've heard mixed things about this book as well, but that red, white, and black cover, I do love that. I just finished reading Killers of a Certain Age, which was a lot of fun, and I want this to be the same kind of fun, so we'll see. The premise of this particular one, if you're not familiar with this one, is in a peaceful retirement village, four unlikely friends meet weekly in the Jigsaw Room to discuss unsolved crimes together. They call themselves the Thursday Murder Club. When a local developer is found dead with a mysterious photograph left next to the body, the friends suddenly find themselves in the middle of their first live case. They might be senior citizens, but they are cleverer than most. As the bodies begin to pile up, can our unorthodox but brilliant gang catch the killer before it's too late? Interesting. Very fun. Killers of a Certain Age also had older women in it, and as I am approaching a certain age, I'm really drawn to this. So I like books that have representation of older characters like this. I'm super excited to pick this one up. The next one is actually also a new release. It just came out in February, and I actually have it in a paperback. It's not in paperback in the US. It's Jojo Moyes' Someone Else's Shoes. The reason why I have this in a paperback is I got this while traveling and visiting family back in February. And weirdly, this European paperback is just as expensive as the hardback is here in the US. Yeah, I've read other books by Jojo Moyes, and I'm not sure if that's how you say her last name, so if it's not, I do apologize. The latest one that I read was The Giver of Stars, which I remember really enjoying. I did also read one of these books while on an airplane, and it has the distinct honor of being one of the books that I was crying on the airplane while reading. So yeah, that should be fun. But if I were to pick one up, this would be the one. I want to pick this one up so bad because it is an author that I do enjoy, and it is a newer release. I think it would be wonderful to be able to pick this one up. So that's that one. And then the last two books are nonfiction books that I ended up getting, and it is a topic and an author I've been wanting to read for quite a while. And the first book is The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson, the epic story of America's Great Migration. And the back of this one says, in this epic, beautifully written masterwork, Pulitzer Prize-winning author Isabel Wilkerson chronicles one of the great untold stories of American history. The decades-long migration of Black citizens who fled the South for northern and western states in search of a better life. From 1915 to 1970, this exodus of almost 6 million people changed the face of America forever. changed the face of America. I'm making stuff up. She interviewed more than 1,000 individuals and gained access to new data and official records to write this definitive and vividly dramatic account of how these American journeys unfolded, altering our cities, our country, and ourselves. So I've seen this one around, and then I also picked up this one, Caste by Isabel Wilkerson, The Origins of Our Discontents, and this is about a caste system that is in America. Very unofficial caste system, but she compares it to the caste system in various other countries. So these are two that I have wanted to pick up for the longest time, and then saw them and said, you know what, I'm just going to finally pick them up. So those two nonfiction, I'm going to try and do a stack, but it's heavy. So these are not small books. So we have these two here, Caste and The Warmth of Other Suns. I'm trying to get it so my hand is going to be well supported. All right. Someone Else's Shoes. I have to move some stuff. The Bandit Queens. Trespasses. The Thursday Murder Club. Dead Man's Walk. Belcanto. Oh, it's getting heavy. It's getting very heavy. The River. Sam. And as you see at Weeble Wobble, Homesick, ooh, by Jennifer Croft. I'm gonna keep two hands on it because otherwise I'm gonna spill it everywhere. Maybe. Let's see. I mean, yikes. But lots of fun. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see a Women's Prize reading vlog. I hope so, because I kind of want to do one. I want to try one again. I do think this weekend might be a good weekend to do it because I do have a lot of time definitely to read on Saturday. So yeah, let me know what you think. Are there any books in here you're excited about? I definitely am excited about the Women's Prize books. Definitely the Bandit Queens. Ooh, really want to read that one. Want to read the Thursday Night Murder Club. I just want to read all the books all the time. Yep, but that is my book haul, library haul, Women's Prize haul for you. I hope you enjoyed the discussion about my local library. I do intend to keep trying to use it more and more, and really don't want to be buying this many books on a regular basis. So we'll see if I'm able to remedy my purchasing habits anytime soon. I'm not guaranteeing because I am drawn to bookstores. So, but as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.